I should. Template, all the sections. Yes. The required section. Yeah. I didn't realize it wasn't being done exactly that way in every college. Oh, please. Sounds anyway. And I said that. These one falls.
Mason, did you get the emails I did? Okay.
I mean, I guess this stuff.
If you want to. We were talking about, so this room is not put together correctly. So I was thinking if people on the committee wanted to kind of like somewhat have a circle just so it's not as awkward to like talk, because I think it'll make it easier so everyone isn't like turning around and talking to each other. So honestly, we could just do it right here. That way, if both the teams want to stand up here and answer questions, maybe that can be easier. And then we can have everyone sit here, kind of form a circle of some kind. And then for like our set.
It's not even this.
Okay. And at least until I already have split that I've read. Okay.
Separate.
I know when I was in like the 5 or 6, I had 2 letters. Really hard to break.
Yeah.
Sure, so oh, and they are so big. But to me, that's.
You should have like a little spire. You know,
Some sports or something.
yeah, what do you kind of put out there?
Action. So say. The other I'm all for.
You're a big fan.
Oh,
These complications.
because it's like
Okay.
from the call to add, then it automatically. I think it's part of the spur of the moment.
I've been asked.
That's still so
It's-
There's no cost.
So now we have that.
There.
Basically, we'll talk about value.
Yeah, that's just something, there wasn't anything like it again. Now the form, so I need to say, when I submitted it, I mean, the letter, I mean, it says, in the multimedia presentation, I mean, this is like, you know, computer aided instruction or some revolutionary thing like that, you know, it's in the language, so I don't think it is.
This is it.
So.
Yeah, that's good. Marcy's trying to. She has metal.
Does anyone know if the last year missed?
She has better understanding.
Does anyone know if they or Bailey?
No.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So,
I think Bailey's on the judging team, right?
Yeah.
They had practice.
Do you want me to look?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here again this week. So kind of just the overview for today, what we're going to do. We're gonna have some time for questions, and I'll if the two if you both want to come up here. If there's any questions from the group that you all might have, this would be the time to ask those questions, get clarifying questions. And then the goal of today is to move to make a decision to approve or deny the fee, or there also is an ability to make an alternate adjustment. I believe last week I told you that was not possible. But we reviewed the bylaws today and confirmed that that is a possibility. So I just want you to keep that in mind, that that is a decision that you all have. So yeah, approve, deny, or alternate suggestion. And basically what will happen, the decision made tonight will be shared. Well, the provost, we have Provost Mendez here, so it'll be shared with them, and President Linton. And then after that, it will move to the Tuition and Fee Strategy Committee, which is a group of student senators that represent each college. And they will essentially approve or deny if the process is done correctly. So Mason is TFSC representative of the College of Agriculture. So at the end of March, we will have a joint meeting with TFSC, and he will share whatever this committee decides tonight. So that's kind of the layout of what this decision making looks like. Does anyone have any questions on that before we get started? Okay, great. I know that's kind of a lot, but if you have any questions throughout, feel free to ask. But I'll give you guys the floor if you have any anything to add from last week or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. Interim Dean Mosier came with me tonight. As a reminder, I'm Dr. John Omer. Just as a reminder on the proposal, we went through the process with our faculty, got student input, took it, got input from the department chairs on their part. We actually put added some things up. We're at 105. We proposed 100 to our Ag Student Council. They actually voted. I don't know if I said this last week or not, but they voted that down, which I can appreciate the process. And then they voted to. They made a motion to set it at 85 and pass that for on campus to leave the distance is $1,000 more because it was already there. And they passed that. We put together the proposal, put it forward. Of that $85, 45 would go to the departments and 40 would stay at the college level. The departments are using it as things like some facility enhancements, graduate teaching assistants. Some of the things they put in there were related to transportation on whether they're field trips or to the farms or those types of things. The college is mostly for services, people, and for the activities. And one of those big pieces is advising, but then also in the category of student engagement and in connection with careers, career development, those types of things. So be happy to stand for any questions. Dr. Mosier has been involved in this since before I was. He actually was part of it as the process began. And then he moved into the interim dean and I moved into interim associate dean and I got to take it from there. So we're here to stand for questions.
Was there anything, did you find out anything on the per year increasement that was mentioned by one of the people in the crowd?
Yeah, that was actually obviously last week when I was told that was a possibility. It was the first I had heard that. What I did find out is we actually had one of the staff members inquired and asked, should we go up for just advising this year? And next year is our typical 3-year rotation. So the question was, should we go up for just advising? And then the next year in a regular rotation, add in the things like engagement and career services. And the advice we got back was, I wouldn't do that. I doubt they're going to give you an increase 2 years in a row. So that's why that staff member was really involved in this process. That's why she helped put together the proposal all combined.
John, do you remember the fee actually went, do you know the year it was actually went in place? I mean, it's been.
We do not. Nobody really remembers. I mean, we know that
$2.90 came in after the pandemic. That it was $20, but that goes back to the 90s, I think.
We believe it's been at least 20 years.
Why is that? Why it's coming up now because the new advising thing, but what's taking so long?
I think, we talked about raising it at times, but I guess we didn't feel like that we were finding ways to get things covered. The buying power is eroded greatly from the time that it was first implemented. But we were trying to be as conservative as we could and try to keep costs down as much as we possibly could. You know, to do it all over again, yeah, we probably should have been ratcheting it up $10 every, 6 or 7 years, something like that. So it wouldn't be such a big increase at it where what it is now. But I think we were just trying to hold the line for as long as we could.
I think that it's really understandable to make that point of an increase now and an increase next year, but can you guys kind of touch on what the process has looked like time-wise and resource-wise on your end to put all this together to the point where we're at now? Because I have kind of been a part of the conversation since August, and from my understanding, it's been really time-consuming.
Yeah, so starting actually, not quite a year ago, we actually had a committee put together to look at technology. So one of the things I probably have not done a good job is mentioning the technology needs in classrooms. And I think those of you who have class in a college bag classroom know that there are classrooms that need that attention. So that group actually started meeting about technology needs, I think in about April. In June, May or June, a group got together of mostly faculty, a few staff, to start talking about the needs for on-campus students and what could we do to improve that. In about 3 or 4 weeks after that, a group got together, these are all 3 separate groups of about 6 to 10 people. And that third group started meeting about what can we do to help distance students. So those committees met over really from their start through August. At August, they came together as one large committee, and in there was a couple of open times where students could come in and talk, and honestly, only a couple students came. So that big group came together, put together, all added their 3 together, and said, "Here's our recommendation to the deans." So Dr. Mosier, myself, and Dr. Borman, and they made that presentation. And that's where the dollars came out to be about $105 per credit hour. At that point, we then took it to the department chairs, and we said we're not going with a proposal that was that high. So then we met with the department chairs, separate meetings, and talked. We asked them. Actually, I missed that step. In between the committees came forward and said that they felt $50. The department chairs, I started working with them on where they were spending fee money, where they wanted to spend fee money, where they felt like they needed to add things they wanted to add to. And those came in a range from about $40 to about almost $60. We synthesized those down and said, we're not going to go for that much. What if we do 55? The college was at 50. So 105, we're going to put them both 50-50. Met with the Ag Student Council twice. And then that went through that process. At that point, we took all of that information and compiled it into the required format for the provost office. We sent it to the provost in November. And then it has proceeded through this process since then. So that probably doesn't give you a full idea of the hours that were spent on it, but there have been a lot of people in each step in this. I actually started on the distance committee, and when I was appointed as the interim associate dean, they removed me because I would be in the process later. Every committee met at least 4 or 5 times. So, and there is a staff member who has put together here's the data, here are the things you requested, all of those along the way. So it has been quite a process that we've tried to engage with as many people as we could. After we did the meeting with the department chairs, then I started, I offered to meet with clubs. 2 or 3 clubs had taken me up on that. We had a college forum put on by the Ag Caucus. I met with the ambassadors. So we did have some of those throughout that time as well. Yeah.
You mentioned that you guys were advised not to just go up the advising amount, but what would that amount look like to cover solely advised?
You know what? I actually don't have that number because when we were advised, we'd asked that way back in May, and when we were told that, we just started heading down the road, and I'm not sure what it is. So I honestly can't answer that question. Or or know how I would calculate it off the top of my head. So I apologize.
What do the other colleges, what are they charging for their credit fees?
They're all over the board, and some colleges charge, so there are two colleges that do, this is a, per credit hour student. There are two other colleges that also, that instead do, what they call it, faculty supplemental fee.
Something like that. The College of Business
And
and Engineering, but their fees are both higher than this.
Yeah, in fact, one of them has a distance fee that's over $200 a credit. But it's helping pay faculty, and it's used for a different purpose. And there are students that, it was proposed and it went through, so, this is gonna put us, we are currently, today, we are the lowest college. This will put us kind of near the median. So there will be a few above us and there will be a few below us. And actually, all of those are posted online.
Got another one. Did the other colleges, when they were forced to add advising, did they eat the cost or did they also raise their fees?
We were essentially the only college that was fully faculty advising. So it was bigger for us than anybody else. There were some others who had done some combination of things. They already had advising centers, so they were able to absorb quite a bit of that in that way. But honestly, the K board change really only impacted about 2 or 3 colleges.
If this doesn't go through, how's that going to affect like next year's budget? Is there any room in that budget for advising or any of this?
Well, we'll have to pay the advisors, and so we'll have to find cuts other places, and that could come from a variety of things that we do in student support, staff positions, but some things that we do to support club travel, the number of student employees that we have across the college, which is a big number, and we're very proud of that. But in the end, we don't have a choice about the advisors. That's and we're not going to reduce the number of advisors so you each have 400 students per advisor. We're not going to do something like that. We'll find a way to fund the advisors, but then we'll have to make some other adjustments and cut some things that we've been able to offer in the past.
And I just want to add that I've thought a lot about that question because it was asked in a way last week also. And we're not trying to answer that as it's this or else. It's actually something we're worried about. Is how we would do this. So please know that we don't take that lightly at all.
One thing I really do appreciate about the college back here is that always look for other resources. I know they've hired new recruiters as well and found other funding streams to sort that need. In addition, what they're putting before you is actually a much lower cost than they initially needed. Overall, they made a lot of concessions. I think when they first asked was substantially higher, and so the money is going back to students and then serving you and helping you finish your degree. So however, whatever that's worth, just want to share that as well. Thank you.
This question might have been answered in a meeting, but how does changing it to $85, how would that impact? I guess how would that compare to Oklahoma State's other competitive qualifiers?
Yeah, it was asked in a way last week also, Mason, and we will still be less than Oklahoma State. When you look at their total bill to our total bill, ours will still be less. Some of our other, and I have that data, I can find it for you. Some of our other peer institutions will be less. Actually, the ones that were already less than us were already less than us. So we're really not moving past much anybody, but Oklahoma State is one of our strong comparison. We will still be below their fee schedule. Now their tuition is less than ours, but their fees are high enough that it actually creates a higher total bill still. Yeah.
I'd just like to add, Oklahoma State's fee is $129.35 per credit hour.
Thank you. I should have came with that. I have it all, but
It's been a day or two since I looked at those.
Also, on that note of just kind of comparing to peer institutions, I think something that I take a lot of pride in is that K-State is one of the top 5 college of ag in the nation, and that's something I think really adds value to our degrees and the education that we commit to here. And across the list of the top 5, Cornell's at the top. Their net cost of education is $26,455, and then Texas A&M and their net cost is $21,610, and then it goes Florida and University of Illinois, and they're lower than us, but then it's K-State, and we're at $18,745. So compared to peer institutions, like just in the sense of paying for an education that's highly valuable compared to others, and kind of benchmarking to institutions that are higher than us, I mean, I feel like we're kind of in an okay spot. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you for that observation. Sorry. With that being said, I'm now seeking a motion to approve or deny.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve this. So,
Any second?
I second the
Okay.
motion.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, the College of Agriculture college fee proposal has been approved. That was easy. Yeah, well, thank you all. We will make sure to get communication out this evening. So yeah, thank you all for your time. For those that are interested, there will be a TFSC meeting at the end of March, March 31st, where we will make the final approval decision for that. But yeah, besides that, that is pretty much all we have today. So thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for your support.
Good.
Running away? Are you gonna go solo?
In your world.
Alright,
How are you?